If I promised you to show you how to become a fearless warrior, I have to admit I lied. I just want to tell you a short story about telephones and sushi. And like every good story, it started a few years ago. And this story especially started with TEDx. I mean, every time I watch these TEDx videos, they're so motivational. And I saw them and I thought, wow, what the hell? I'm going to change the world. I can do the same. But just a few days later, something strange happened. All this motivation gets lost in just a few days. And you sit there and think, what the hell happened in just a few days? So for the first time, I took my chair, I sat down, and reflected what has happened in the last few years with me. And everything I realized was, you have to know, I never wanted to be self-employed. And I recaptured why. What was the reason why I not wanted to be self-employed? And then I saw it. It were the small things that kept me away from doing what I like. And not the big things. I even failed before beginning project because there were things I thought, I can't do this. For example, my problem was I wasn't able to talk to customers or in front of people. So I was really afraid of phoning with my customers, and I thought, this is crazy. Why am not possible to do this? So I created my own little concept of small fears that keep us away from doing what we like. They block us in your mind. And as I was aware of this concept, I saw it the second time in a really strange place. It was a Japanese restaurant with a friend, and this was the point where he met his worst enemy, a piece of raw fish. I instantly knew there was no way he would ever take this piece of raw fish, this piece of sushi, and put it in his mouth. No way. There was terror in his eyes. And I thought, how crazy is this? Eating is the most natural thing on earth. You can't even live without it. What reason could there be that you don't even try it? So it was crazy. And then I saw this everywhere. Everywhere I go, I saw these small fears, this concept. And with a lot of friends, I saw they're afraid of different cultures, they're afraid of talking to people, they're afraid of talking with their true love they saw in a restaurant or in a disco, and they're afraid of animals, and it's just things that keep us away from seeing how cool life can be, because we never tried it, because we are afraid of this. So it was really strange. And this was the point where, for the second time, I took my chair, I sat down, and thought, what are all these celebrities doing? I mean, they're in the media, everybody sees them. Maybe they are in movies, maybe they are naked, maybe they're doing crazy shit. What are they not fearing anything? What is with Steve Jobs, Richard Branson, Felix Baumgartner? They can't be fearless androids who just do what they like. And that was the point where I realized fear is nothing to be afraid of. It sounds a little bit shaky, but that's the way. It's something really natural, and we don't have any natural enemies more in our life. And with our fast lifestyle, we project our fears on things that are really ridiculous. Not even make sense sometimes, like, how can you be afraid to phone with someone? And so, as I realized this, someone could say, oh, just ignore it. Do what you want and ignore all the stuff, the feelings. But that doesn't work out for everybody. So I think everybody knows this. If you want to go to sleep and you lie down and everything is silent and the room is dark, and you think, okay, now I'm going to sleep. And then suddenly, boom, the whole universe crashes into your head and you think, wow, what the hell? And I'm not going to sleep in the next 3 hours. And you're laying there and watch the universe crossing your mind. Yeah, some people accomplish this with reading a book before going to sleep, or they count sheep. I listen to boring and monotone audio files that keep my mind to being a way of thinking all this crazy stuff. And okay, so I think it's the same with fears. You can't not everyone can ignore them. If you try to ignore your fears, then it could happen that thousands of other possibilities what could happen in the moment crash into your mind. So I thought it would be really cool to just take one of these fears and project one worst case scenario on it. So every time you're not sure what you're going to do, just try to imagine what is the worst case that could happen. And it has to make sense. It doesn't have to be something stupid. And if it's not death or physical or the psychological hurt of you or others, it can't be so big. But it has to make sense. For example, if we take the thing with the phones, what is the worst thing that could happen if I phone with the customer? Is he screaming at me? Does he quit working with me? No, I realized the worst case that could happen is that I don't phone him and I don't get the job. So this was my scenario on which I concentrated. And all the thousands of other possibilities that could happen doesn't matter, because that's the worst case. And on this I tried to focus. The same example with the sushi. I mean, seriously, what is the worst thing that could happen? I mean, you put this mouse of raw meat in your mouth and you don't like it and you spit it out. That's it. That's the worst case scenario. Yeah. And the scenario worked really good out for me. So I even used it with my TEDx presentation as an application video. On the 21st of December 2012, the day of the end of the world, I took my camera, I took a lamp, and on midnight I went to the nearest forest and made my application video. If you want to, you can watch it on the Facebook side of TEDx. I think it's already all online. And it was really crazy. I can't tell you how creepy all this stuff was. I mean, all the sounds and the noises in the middle of the night, and it was crazy. But again, what was the worst case that could happen? That I'm attacked by a wild boar or some strange people cross my way? No, the worst case that could happen was that the video is never finished and I wouldn't be here today. That was my worst case scenario. So to end the story, the interesting part is just realize how many cool things you can miss if you block your mind with stuff that is maybe ridiculous. Focus on the point that is interesting, because fear is nothing else than a warning signal. It shows you, hey, there's maybe some dangerous thing ahead, or maybe it's something new, but your mind has to know what exactly the fear is, and it often makes no sense. So project your fear on one thing and say, okay, that's the worst case scenario. I try to block the thing that is not going to happen, and the rest doesn't matter. So yeah, this was my short story, and I hope it helps you a little bit.